This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Regina League.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. My favorite thing to do is meet local businesses, and today I'm talking with Kayla Dupoux. She is the director of British Swim School. How are you, Kayla?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me, Regina.
Absolutely. I am so curious. British Swim School. Tell us a little bit of history about that.
Of course. So British Swim School originally started in Great Britain, which is where we get our name. It was founded by a woman named Rita Goldberg, and she actually started doing swim lessons in her basement because she realized that there was a need for swim lessons, kids to learn how to swim, and there weren't a lot of places to go and do it. So she started off in her community, took kids in that, were around where she lived. And it kind of just grew even further from there. So they rented out a few pools over there in that area. And then it got so big that, the United States wanted to get into it. So it moved here. So now we have several different franchise owners scattered throughout the United States. And then we're here in Charlotte. So
yeah, tell us about your Charlotte area locations.
So we're all over Charlotte. So north, south, east, we're all over it. The one that is closest to most people probably listening to this podcast is in South Charlotte. So we actually use, gyms, retirement homes, high school pools, hotels, just a way to reach more of the community that we can. The one in South Charlotte is actually located inside the LA Fitness in Ballantyne.
Oh yeah, I was a member there. Well, that is super cool and convenient.
Yeah.
So curious, how young do you take them and how old do you take them for lessons?
Yeah, so there's really no age limit. The youngest that we do start is 3 months, and then there's no cutoff from there. So any little babies come in and do some lessons, and then we have older adults that are learning how to swim. So we're all across the map in that way.
What's the oldest you have been a part of teaching? What's the oldest person's age?
90.
Oh my
90
goodness.
years old. Yes. And we actually are in a retirement home right now, a retirement community. And we do some lessons there for their residents. And I mean, they love it. And it's surprising because we don't only just teach learn to swim for adults, right? A lot of adults come in and learn and work to swim with us as part of their exercise. So there's really a range to it. But yeah, 90 years old is pretty amazing.
So it's never too late. That tells you right there.
Never.
So talk about the different types of swim lessons. I'm trying to get a visual. Is it private, a group?
Yeah.
Options?
Yeah, so we do mainly group lessons, but we do have private lessons as well for someone with a child or even adult that wants to work on something specific. But if you enroll in one of our group lessons, the max you're going to be in is 4 kids. If you're doing a baby class, there's probably 6 kids in it total because the parents are in there with the kids. And then our adult lessons are just 2 people. So it's really catered to make sure that we're meeting and working with everyone. Everyone feels welcome. It's really, really a community-based environment.
So is there a preset schedule if someone went onto your website and they're curious either for themselves or their child? How long are the lessons and how are they structured?
Yeah, so our lessons are typically 30 minutes long. Some people do back-to-back lessons if they want to. They add in the second day, so that changes it. But our schedule is already preset. So once you go online, or even if you call us, you're looking for a specific level, then we have a specific times that you can get set up on. And then you come every single week, same time, unless you need to change it, but it makes it very easy to add to your schedule.
Are we able to determine our own level, or is that something you determine after you?
Yeah. So we actually have a quiz on our website that you can go on. You can put in, the skills that you're at, maybe skills that you don't have yet, and it will put you in a level that it thinks is best for you and your skill set. But you can also call us, right? Because some people have very specific fears, but doesn't mean they can't do something already. So always calling us and talking to us, over the phone is going to give you a way more accurate description of the class you should be in.
So I'm curious, if you're teaching someone to swim, is it freestyle or can you learn other types of strokes?
Yeah. So we focus mainly on survival, right? So accidents happen all the time in ponds and tubs and pools.
Okay.
So really when someone comes in, if they're newer, we're going to teach them life-saving skills first. Make sure that anything were to happen to you or your child, they can save themselves, you can save yourselves, and you're good. But then on, we do start getting into, all the different styles of swimming: freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly. We have swim team, so something for everyone.
I remember in college, I took, I don't know, it wasn't swim lessons. I guess it was more like to be a lifeguard. And they made us jump in with all of our clothes on. And I was done that day.
Yes.
I was like, nope, I'm going to drown.
That's actually a part of our program. We have something called Survival Week, where it's always themed, right? So the last one that we did was Wacky Week, come in wacky clothes. And we have all the kids do their exercises in their clothes, right? Most likely, if you encounter an accident and you're not prepped for it, you're not wearing goggles, you're not wearing a cap, you're not in your swimsuit. So we want to make sure that everyone knows what to do in any instance. And that's the foundation, really, of our school.
I think my blood pressure just went up talking about that. What kind of training do your clients, your instructors need?
Yeah, so actually they need a lot of training. Even if you know how to swim coming in and you want to be a part of our team, there's a lot more to it than just knowing how to swim. You need to know how to work with people, work with kids in many different areas of their swimming journey. So we do have an online and in-person training that's required for everybody. Online training is a little bit more rigorous, but in-person training, it's day by day, step by step. We don't ever put someone to teach their own lesson if we do not feel comfortable and they do not feel comfortable in a specific class or in all of the classes. So it takes a pretty long time to get people trained up, but it's important that everyone's fully trained.
So you're learning survival. Is there a test at the end to say, I can do it? Okay. What does that look like? What is that?
We have 2 different tests, and honestly, they get tested every single day that they're in there training with us. The last test is we would take them through every single level, right? So they either work with me if I'm the one in the water, they work with one of our kids who have been in our program for a while, so they work one-on-one with them, but we take them through every single level. Show me the skills, how do you hold them, make sure that they, are able to do everything in that. And then we also have a final written exam that we make everybody do as well, and they do need 100% to pass. So we're very picky.
So do you get like a certification? Does that allow you then to go on and be a lifeguard, for example?
No, that is only for them to be able to teach our curriculum at our school. If they were to go somewhere else, they would have to get different training. So it's very specific to British Swim School. We do have a lifeguard training that we also do. I coordinate those and I lead those as well for parents and for our staff and for anybody else that's looking to get lifeguard certified. But that's different, and they don't necessarily have to work with us afterwards to get that training.
So if you're a student, though, is there a test at the end, or how do you know, okay, I'm ready, I could do this, I'm done?
So we know a kid is ready really to save themselves, right? If they wanted to, be able to swim all 4 strokes and swim a marathon, I don't know. If they want to do something like that, then they would come into our, stroke development levels and even swim team. And then from there, they've tested out of our program. But we know that a kid can save themselves in any water emergency after they pass our Turtle 1 level. So that's our survival level, really big. Once they pass that level, every single exercise in that level and are tested out of Turtle 1, then they kind of, we know from there if they were to go anywhere else that they would be comfortable, they could save themselves no matter what.
How long does that typically take to reach that level?
That's a great question. And I wish I had a very specific answer, but I don't. We get this all the time. For kids that come in and they already have a predisposed fear of the water, which happens a lot more than parents realize, it takes them a lot longer to progress through our program just because there's so many things to learn. And then on top of that, they have to get over their fear as well. So I can't even give a timeline for that. But for kids that come in, maybe starting in, our starfish and then have 3-4 more levels to turtle 1, I would say probably a little over 2 years, maybe even 3. But everyone's different, right? Everyone's different. They can move faster or slower, really just dependent on the kid.
How did you get into this, Kayla?
I honestly, oh my gosh, I love saying this story. I got really lucky. I'm not going to lie. I have been working with kids ever since my first job. That was my first job, working with kids. I realized that I was really good at it, and it was very easy for me to connect with children and for them to connect with me as well. I didn't really realize that I was a good leader until I had a leadership position before this one. And I realized that I just knew how to bring people together. I knew how to connect everyone to help them reach their goals and me reach mine, right? Working together as a part of a team. I got reached out by James on Indeed, actually. I wasn't even looking for jobs at the time. I just had a profile. He reached out and he was like, hey, I think you would be excellent for this position that's opening. Let me know if you want to apply. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So I was like, sure, why not? Let's just see. He took me through 3 different interviews, and I fell in love with him as a person before even falling in love with the job. So, he was the reason why I got into it. And I've been swimming most of my life. I'm a really good swimmer for the most part. And everything just seemed to click, right? Leadership, children, working with my mentor, James, who is the owner. So I really feel like I got lucky with it.
Well, it looks like he got lucky too. I can tell.
Would say that too. Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about misconceptions. I guess you're interacting with these people, and what do you find are some of the most common ones?
So a lot of people think that, if they're swimming in the winter, that their kids are more likely to get sick. This is false. And, it's really hard to let everybody know in the whole entire world that you can go swimming in the winter and be fine. It really just comes from bacteria. It comes from viruses. It doesn't come from swimming in a pool, right? And our pools all are at least over 80 degrees. So it's warmer than swimming in a lake or a pool or the ocean even. And most people think that if they sign up for swim lessons in the spring, that their kids are going to be ready for their vacations in the summer. And that is also not the case. The best time to put yourself or your child in swim lessons is always in the winter, right? There are less people taking swimming lessons, so way more availability. They're learning to swim and maybe in a colder environment, even though it's kind of warmer than in other environments. But it's exposing them early on so that when summer comes around, they're at least ready to do certain things by themselves.
Well, yeah, and exposing them to it. That is incredible. I love what you do. So tell our listeners how to find you guys.
Yes, you can find us online. If you go on Google and you type in British Swim School, Metro Charlotte, we are there. You can also give us a call. So our phone number is 704-440-3560. And you can also email us at goswimcharlotte@britishswimschool.com.
And let's name your locations in the Charlotte area again.
Okay, so we are in South Charlotte. I want to list all of them, but we have so many, so I don't want to take up so much time. But we have one in South Charlotte in Ballantyne. We have a pool at the LA Fitness in Rock Hill. We have 2 pools in Matthews, one in Providence High School, and then the other one, which is in the Holiday Inn Express on Independence. We are in West Charlotte and North Charlotte. So North Charlotte, we are in the Concord, Huntersville area. The closest pool will probably be near the university, so near UNCC. That's our closest one to there. I think that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have a bunch. I wanted to make sure I hit them, but I'm pretty sure I did.
Congratulations. You're doing, I can tell, an amazing job. He's lucky to have you. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Regina. It was a pleasure. I had so much fun.
Yeah, it was great learning about the British Swim School. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpsouthcharlotte.com. That's gnpsouthcharlotte.com or call 980-351-5719.